Thanks for joining me on part 2 here. I'm going to do 2 more problems, and then I think after that you should try some on your own. So for the first step here, let's go ahead and find the x value of the vertex. We're going to do negative b over 2a. So I'm going to have a negative b. Well, what's my b? My b is 8. So that's going to be a negative 8 over 2 times my a. Well, my a is negative 2. Okay, so if you're confused at what I did there, I did a negative or opposite of my b divided by 2 times my a being negative 2. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's plug that in. Well, we get a negative 8 over a negative 4, and that's equal to 2. So what have we just found by doing negative b or opposite b over 2a? Well, we just found the x value of the vertex. So that's our step 1. Our second step is to find what this value is, find out what the y value is of the vertex. And to do that, we're going to plug in 2. Anytime I plug something into an x value, I need parentheses. So this is going to look like negative 2 parentheses 2 squared plus 8 times parentheses 2 minus 12. Now at this point, you should pick up your graphing calculator and you should just flat out plug right in. So here I plug in and I get negative 4. And let's just confirm that by doing that out. Let's say you don't have your graphing calculator with you. So let's confirm it's a negative 4. Okay, well first we do 2 squared, which is 4. That gives me negative 2 times 4 plus 8 times 2 minus 12. Next thing we do is multiplication. So that gives us a negative 8. This gives us a 16 minus 12. Now, of course, negative 8 plus 16 is an 8. Drop down the minus 12, and we do get a negative 4. So that is correct. So let's go ahead and let's graph our 2, negative 4. It's right here. And our other step here is going to be to graph our axis of symmetry, which is going to be x equals whatever we got for negative b over 2a, or you just think of it as the x value of your vertex. So x equals 2. Okay, there we go. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to find a point that's really close. And that point that I'm going to choose is 3, right? See how we've got x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 1. I would choose 1 or 3. Let's go ahead and choose x equals 3 and plug that in. So that gives me negative 2, 3 squared plus 8 times 3 minus 12. Again, you can do this in your calculator or you can do this out by hand. I'm personally going to do it by calculator, and I get negative 6. All right, what does that mean? That means I have the coordinate x equals 3 and y equals negative 6. So I can write that as 3, negative 6. So 3, negative 6 is here. And then notice that I can draw the kind of the symmetrical point on the other side of my axis of symmetry. Then I can go ahead and draw this parabola. And you are done with this problem. All right, we've got another problem to try, and then we'll be done. This next one is going to be y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3. So first step here is to do negative b over 2a. And it's almost better to say opposite of b over 2a. Both are correct. Okay, well what is, if my b is equal to negative 2, what's the opposite of a negative 2? Or what's the negative of a negative 2? Well, that's going to be a positive 2. Okay, if you don't trust me, that's a negative of a negative 2. That's negative b, right? My b being negative 2. So that negative of a negative becomes a positive 2. But like I said, it might be better just to say the opposite of what b is. Well, if b is negative 2, I'm going to have a 2 here. All right, moving on from that, 2 times a is going to be 2 times, what's this number right here? Well, if there's no number, that's going to be a 1. So 2 divided by 2, which gives me 1. All right. Number 2, step 2 is to find the y value of our vertex. Well, to do that, I'm going to take my 1 and I'm going to plug it in everywhere I see an x here. And don't forget your parentheses. So this will be 1 times x squared. Well, my x is being 1 minus 2 times 1 plus 3. This one's almost easier to do in your head. This is 1 squared is 1 times 1 is 1 minus 2 plus 3. Well, that's going to give me 1 minus 2 is negative 1 plus 3 is 2. So what did I just find? I just found the y value of my vertex being 2. Okay, so there's my vertex. And also note that my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. That's my x value right here. So I can go ahead and graph that. I've got my 1, 2. Here is my axis of symmetry. Now my step 4 is going to be to find a point that's close to it. I'm going to choose, well, if this is 1, I'll choose 2. So plugging in x equals 2, I'm going to get 1 times 2 squared minus 2 times 2 plus 3. I'm just plugging in 2 everywhere I see an x, right? And that's 2 places. All right, so that's going to give me, and again, pick up your calculator or do this in your head or do it on paper, but you're going to get 2 squared is 4 times 1 is 4 minus 4 plus 3. Well, that is 3. So you have the point 2, 3. So that's going to be right here. Next step is to plot that reciprocal point or symmetrical point, and then you're going to go ahead and graph your parabola. If you have graph paper, that is certainly better than what I just did. Thanks for watching. Have a glorious day.